Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to an episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode number 188. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
And how are you? What's going on, my friend?
Well, I don't know. I mean, nothing much has changed.
yeah, I guess maybe I should change that question for next week. Yeah, that's true. Well, we're getting there. Things are slowly. Game On is back open, at least by me. So I'm actually able to go now. So it's a little something. We're getting there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the New York's doing a great job. The numbers are down, which is awesome because they're starting to open up. Us, on the other hand, the numbers are going up continually. And now now they're kind of cracking down a little bit more for us. So,
all right. Well, there you go.
But that's what you get for, having the largest population of all states.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
That is us.
So, all right. So we're here this week. Last week was really cool. We talked about the PlayStation 5. Since last week, a couple new games, were being announced. I saw Star Wars Starfighter, which looks really cool.
Star Wars Squadron.
Squadron. Right? I'm sorry, Squadron. Yeah. You're right. Mm-hmm. Some other games. So, the hype after last week, the hype for the PS5, especially for me, I can't wait for the holiday.
Oh, I'm already sold.
Oh, yeah.
I am so sold on that.
And I am still constantly measuring different areas in my apartment to fit that Ms. Pac-Man machine, if I do get it.
You're going to buy it.
I told you, there's only one caveat where I would not buy it. Other than that, it's a guarantee.
Well, right behind you where the shelf is, where you have all your video games, I think you can move that over and just put the cabinet right there.
That is attached to the wall, my friend.
Okay, well then never mind.
That is bolted. So
no, not with the game.
This thing?
The other thing, the ladder.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Don't make me think. All right, whatever. So
you don't have to think. I just solved it for you. Yeah.
No, I got it right over there. As soon as the way I have it, if it works out, the way I have it, as soon as you open the door to my apartment, wadoosh, right there in front of me is the machine. Yeah, nice. If I do that correctly. So we'll see. That is down the road, which at this point is going to feel like next week. So don't really matter.
Yeah, more or less.
So this week we're going to take a turn a little bit for, we're always talking about, obviously, retro gamers. We love the Nintendo, Genesis, all that fun stuff. Before I forget, folks, if you haven't gotten it already, released for Xbox One and the Switch. I don't know if it's on the PlayStation, and correct me on that one, the Namcot collections.
I think it is available on the PlayStation.
Okay.
Let me double check that.
Sure. Definitely on the Switch and the Xbox One. I got them on the Switch. They're awesome. They're like $20 each. I made sure there was not like a deal where you buy both at the same time, you save money, as I've been burnt like that recently. But they're not. They want their $20 each. So,
of course they do.
Definitely worthwhile. It is so much fun to play. And the 8-bit Pac-Man Championship Edition.
Oh, how is that?
It is actually more difficult, in my opinion, than the original Championship Edition, because that 8-bit kind of throws you off a little bit. There's something about it. I don't know. Wow. But it's awesome. It is fantastic. So, if you haven't got,
looks like it is coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC as well.
Okay.
So
definitely.
But it's called, wait, that may be different. It's called Namco Museum Archive.
That's the original. No, that's a different game then. I don't remember seeing it for the PS4. That's the weird thing.
Well, I don't see anything listed about it.
Namcot. Make sure you search.
Yeah, Namcot. No. I'm looking at Namcot, but I'm only seeing it on the Switch.
Okay. Well, it's definitely on Xbox, because I saw it advertised on the Xbox.
Well, I hope it comes to the PS4, because that's where I like to game.
So definitely check those out. And also one more thing that I purchased. I went nuts on the Switch this week. I've always seen this advertisement for these two games through a wonderful. I can't remember which one it is. See, folks, there are actually good companies out there that do put out limited games on a physical edition that don't screw you out of your money or screw you out of a game. So there are good ones out there besides a certain other one. And there was these two games that were being put out called the Darius Collection.
Oh, yes.
Now, Darius is a game, actually an unreleased version was put on the Genesis Mini. It's a side-scroller shoot-'em-up. And the original games were these giant arcade. I think there's one probably in Barcade LA. There's definitely one out here, I think in the Brooklyn one. These giant arcades, and it's a side scroller shoot 'em up that was like 2 or even 3 screens wide.
Ooh.
Oh, it was like there's 4-player versions, all like that. So
that's awesome.
There were these physical releases, Darius Collection Arcade and Darius Collection Console. 2 separate, but they're always physical copies. But there were physical copies, but I think they were more sold like overseas. I never really saw them here. So I always looked at them like, again, the want of digital, I was like, maybe I'll just hold off. And then finally out of nowhere, they just popped up on the Nintendo eShop. So I mean, they're like full price games. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But oh my God, it's amazing. And like, I mean, granted, like to get 2 or 3 screens to shrink down on a TV, but it's just so weird to have such a large battlefield for a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up that is supposed to be 3 screens wide. It's very, very odd.
Right.
But
kind of awesome.
In my opinion, though, well worth it. And the console version has games from the Master System, the Genesis, the Super Nintendo, PC Engine, I think PC Engine CD. So definitely check them out. The Darius Collection.
Okay.
They're really cool.
Cool. And yeah, I think I bought a game last week on the Nintendo Switch as well. It was for a whopping $1.
I just picked one up for a penny.
Yeah, so, yeah, they have some really cool. But this one was kind of it's like one of those. It's a choose your own adventure game. I've been kind of getting into this lately, and I can't remember the name of it. It's a Japanese game because the Japanese apparently are really into the choose your own adventure kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't played it yet though. I bought it because it was on sale for $1, and I was like, okay, it's normally $20. It's $1. I'll take it.
Fair enough.
But at some point I'll get to it.
All right, cool.
Of course. 2040.
And you can sort. You can actually sort by price on the Switch.
Yes.
So
which is cool. Really cool.
Absolutely. All right. And speaking of which, speaking of purchasing, I made a couple of the new purchases, and this week we're going to go in a little bit of a different direction because as much as we love these classics, these arcade classics, some of which get re-released for the current consoles, there's a lot of good games out there that are being made homebrews, if you will, and available on Kickstarter. And and you've talked about one, the 13th Ghost, right?
The 13th Doll, which is a sequel to The Seventh Guest in the 11th Hour.
Okay.
And I really need to go back and finish it.
So
it's like one of those things I get really excited and I start going through it and then I get distracted with something else that's shiny. I'm like a dog. Ooh, shiny.
Trust. We've talked about it in the past. Like growing up, you get a game. Oh, sweet. You play it. Then you get a new game. That old one just goes to the wayside.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
I am not doing that. It's sad.
Welcome
I want to finish a game.
Never again will you finish a game.
No. I will finish it.
So you bought that on Kickstarter. And so I'm like, we talked and we're like, all right, you know what? Let's talk about some Kickstarter games. And we're talking like more like games that even though they're new, they're in the 8-bit, the 16-bit vein, or being released on, older consoles. So in the research, really, I didn't have to worry about looking for games because I've backed many more than I thought I have.
Oh, you've gone above and beyond what I've done.
Yeah, I got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I've backed 12 of them.
I backed 1.
And it took how long to get?
5 years.
There you go. I backed 12. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 of them. Because the rest just aren't they're still making them because some of them were fairly recent. So we're going to go through these. We'll put some links, at least on the audio side of it. We'll put links because even though the Kickstarter is over, you can still purchase these games.
Right.
Most of them. Whether digital copies or physical copies. And that's kind of what's cool about it because some of these are coming out on an NES cartridge, a Genesis cartridge, a Dreamcast CD. So let's kind of get right into it, and we're just going to talk about them, check them at your leisure, and let us know if you know of any cool like retro style games on Kickstarter or Indiegogo or any of these crowdfunding campaigns. So
Larry, I'm going to let you drive the bus because you bought all of them.
All right, drive the bus. Desert Bus is not one of the games.
all right.
So,
I'm done with this episode.
So let me try and go back to the first game I've actually backed on Kickstarter. It's a game that is available right now on Switch, PS4, Xbox One, Steam, basically everything. It's called Hyper Sentinel. In fact, give me just a couple seconds here. Because
did you buy an actual copy?
Where is it? SpaghettiOs.
Oh boy.
I had one. I had a copy.
All right. Well, considering there are a lot of games behind you, it's just going to be hard to find.
Oh, that's it. No, because here it is. Here's why it's hard to find. Because it was on a cassette. Like an audio cassette.
Okay.
So which was very cool. I mean, I have it for Switch, and but what's cool about this is the first of actually at this point now 5 games that they released in these cassette style physical releases. And
but explain the cassette.
So here's what the cassette. It looks like an old school audio cassette.
Yep.
But of course, don't worry, folks. It's a USB.
Okay, that's really cool.
So, but I just love the cassette look to it. Obviously, you can't put it on. Do these things even spin? No, they don't.
No, that does not look like it.
So, again, there's 5 games. Like, they're not like sequels to Hyper Sentinel, but just in this style from this company, Huey.
Yeah, it would have been clever, though, if they had the USB and it was an actual cassette that had the soundtrack. That
would be interesting. That would be, I don't even know how you would even design that.
Someone can figure that out.
Probably. And Hyper Sentinel is just basically a shoot 'em up, but it's weird. It's like kind of like what Empire Strikes Back was on the Atari, or like what Chopper Command was, where you go back and forth. Like it's not linear, so you go back and forth. And what's cool about this, and it's kind of a running situation on some of these games, when they get to the stretch goals, like they unlock different filters, which I thought was pretty interesting, like a ZX Spectrum filter or Commodore 64 filter, things like that. So,
very cool.
And, some of these Kickstarters are old enough where I can't really see, like, they don't have the stretch goals anymore. So I apologize, because I definitely would love to, talk about those. But, Hyper Sentinel is just and Hyper Sentinel is always on sale, at least on the Switch, from what I see. So, definitely. Here we go. I got it right here. Limited edition USB cassettes, which I don't know. I don't think you can really buy those anymore. Came with, that's right. If I open up the cassette, I should have, there we go, autographs from some of the makers.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
I forgot about that. Of course, my name's not on it, really. He took the time to sign them, but you can put my name on there. Jonathan Port, Rob Hewson, John Ogden, and Andrew Hewson.
Well, maybe they left that spot for you to fill in, maybe.
I've had this for like a year now. Please don't.
Okay. Just write your name on it. Nice.
Maybe I will. Maybe you should.
Where's some of the All right, so that's a cool little game. I know how much you like those side-scrolling shooters, or shoot-em-ups. So, they were never. I don't know what it was with those. Like, I guess I could never figure out with any of them. Actually, I can never figure out like the patterns and stuff like that. At least with the side-scrolling ones. So I would always struggle with those. The top to bottom ones, for some odd reason, I play better.
A vertical one, I can see. I can actually see that. Don't get me wrong. Just something about it.
I mean, it's the same way where it's like I can't play first-person shooters, but because I don't know, they just don't work for me. They also give me headaches. But that's a whole other story.
And then just to put this into perspective, let's see. So this one that had a 15,000. I can't do the conversion right now. 15,000 pound goal, because it's from England. They made 21,068 pounds, 566 backers. So that was definitely a success.
Very nice.
Another one that I ended up getting is a game which is very interesting, because this was someone who basically almost like one person was making the game, and I think if I understand it correctly, like his daughter almost gave him the idea of this type of Ghosts and Goblins style gameplay.
Oh, cool.
And the game is called Battle Princess Madeline. Cool. And Battle Princess Madeline, here from Kickstarter, is a game that follows the journey of a young knight in training, Madeline, and her ghostly pet dog, Fritzy.
Nice.
Yeah, if you like not Castlevania, Ghosts and Goblins.
Ghosts and Goblins.
You will like Battle Princess Madeline. This one is one of the ones that I definitely enjoy playing. From up in Canada. And let's see. So Canadian, their goal was $60,000. They got $212,665 with 3,400 backers.
Lots of happy people.
Yes. And definitely a lot of the stretch goals were achieved, which is pretty cool. And this thing's available. I mean, Xbox One, the Wii U, the Switch, Windows, PlayStation 4, and even PS Vita.
Oh, wow. Vita.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So so this one, I think,
I'm just looking at it right now.
Yep. Again, folks, you can go, if you go to the Kickstarters, you can purchase these games. Some of the features here, mix of fast-paced classic arcade action with adventure elements, collectibles, 10 levels, 5 stages each pretty much, fully replayable stages, so there really is a replay value to this. The music in it is awesome. Some great music.
Very cool. Yeah, no, it looks like a fun game, and to your point, it's got a Ghosts and Goblins kind of look.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So this one, again, I have it on the Switch, but because of the Kickstarter that I backed, and I got this back in 2018, I ended up getting, and so we're not doing it this week, but we will very soon put something up for it. But I do have still sealed a PS4 copy of Battle Princess Madeline to give away.
Good.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it has this dumb logo on the back. So,
what's the dumb logo?
Yeah, so...
limited run games!
So, I'd be more than happy to get rid of it.
Such
at this point.
Great company.
So we'll talk about that down the road, but definitely worthwhile to pick up.
I think one day I'm just going to surprise you with, like, the owner of limited run games on the show.
You think I'm worried about that? Absolutely. I was ready to flip their table the last day of Long Island Retro Expo last year. I didn't want to pay for all the damage that would have happened. So let me ask you a question. These, I know you only did one Kickstarter, don't get me wrong, but...
Yeah. Well, I did two.
What was the other one that you did?
The other one was the NES Maker, the one where you can make your own NES games.
Yes, that's right. Let's talk about that for a moment. So the NES Maker, yes, you want to talk about that one real quick?
Yeah, I mean, it basically is what it says. I mean, the NES Maker gave you the ability to create your own NES games through point and click. You didn't have to do any coding or anything like that. So you created the graphics, you created the backgrounds and everything like that, and then you worked through the gameplay, but you didn't have to do the coding, which is obviously ideal. And it was just a really cool idea. I bought it with the intention of, oh God, I'm going to make all of these games and everything like that. Of course, the life that I lead, I was no time to do it. Even during a pandemic, I'm too busy. But it was just, I thought it was a really cool way to support them because I wanted them to reach their goals, and they did reach their, actually, you know what? I do have it up here really quickly. The idea was their original goal was $32,000. They raised $253,000 with over 2,500 backers.
There we go.
I think they hit all of their stretch goals and kept adding. So,
sweet.
Where did they stop on their goals? So they stopped, and they added stuff like, okay, so what can you do with the NES Maker? You can make, and they had different modules based on their
I remember that,
goals.
yeah.
So you can, and because they hit all of these, you can do adventure games, platformer games, RPGs, brawlers, shooters.
There you go.
They added a music maker to it, a troll burner
demo
mini game.
Yeah.
Yep. Memory mapping. Let's see, which was interesting. And then there was a NES Maker strategy.
I didn't know about that. That's cool.
Yep.
Huh.
And then let's see, what else did they add? They had other add-ons and stuff, but they had a whole bunch of stuff. And the cool thing about it was, obviously, you downloaded it to your computer to make it, but depending on what level you supported, you could actually support a level where you were able to put the game on an NES cartridge.
Yes.
So they send you the hardware to transfer it over to an NES cartridge, which I did not do, and I kind of regret. However, since I haven't made any games, It's okay. I'm sure I could still do it if I wanted to. I think it was like if you pledged $88, you got the toolkit,
something like that. Yeah,
to put it on an actual cartridge, which would have been cool. So so just again, it's just one of those things for somebody who is a gamer who wants to start making games. This was just a cool little cool thing. And again, you can still go to their site and purchase NES Maker if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've ever had an itch to make games, I've always wanted to make like an original Legend of Zelda type of game. Like I would love to do a game like that one day. And maybe I still will.
Still can. You got time.
Still can.
You got time.
Time I have.
And this was one of the situations that I've done a couple of times. Excuse me, where I didn't pledge enough to get any hardware, but you can pledge like $1 or $5 or even sometimes $10 where you just kind of like, you know what? I support the project. I'm not going to get anything, but here's $5 or something. So good luck. And that's something that I did with the NES Maker because I definitely saw potential in this. I'm like, you know what? I'm not ready to get anything major, but here's some money. Good luck. Yeah. And that's also the beauty of Kickstarter. So you don't have to get something in order to back something.
Exactly.
All right. So hopefully down the road, we will see maybe a Retro Gamers video game. Who knows?
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe. All right. So
I'm sorry, but Princess Larry is in another castle.
Oh, yikes. That is going to be an ugly, ugly princess. So another one that I got that that I've been playing for a little bit, actually Kickstarter considers it a staff pick, is a game called Blasphemous.
Yeah, and I looked at this, and this game is right up my alley.
Oh, yeah. Available on the PS4, Switch, Xbox One, Windows, Linux. And I'm assuming that is that last logo is a Mac.
What is that one?
I think it's a Mac
OS.
OS.
Oh, is that Mac OS? Yeah.
So this game is this one's again a lot of these that I have for the Switch. Mm-hmm. Shockingly, right? So
that's why we never play together.
Well, I think this is only a one-player game anyway. So
okay, well then I can't play with you.
So the gameplay in this one is the visual style of it's more of like a 16-bit, almost like a Genesis game, I would say. It's a fast, intense action combat. The boss battles, even if you go to the website and you check out trust me, the visuals some of them are not for the faint at heart. So don't get me wrong. Epic boss battles. There's a giant baby that you fight or something like that. It's very weird.
Oh God. I haven't fought a giant baby since zombies ate my neighbors.
And what's interesting about, which I kind of didn't realize when I backed this, was it's kind of like, it's got like a non-linear gameplay. Okay. Not necessarily like a Metroidvania style, but there is like some branching you can go on it. And you have your choices definitely dictate the game. But yeah, go ahead.
Wait, is that more like a Castlevania Bloodlines type of thing?
I guess maybe more like Bloodlines or even Castlevania 3, where you can you have branching levels, if you will.
Yeah. Also, Rondo does.
Yes, that's right. I gotta really start playing that heavy now.
Oh,
now that
so
I have
much
it.
fun.
The main character of the game is just very weird. You got like this giant drill on the top of your head. It looks like with barbed wire. You almost look like a demented Tin Man almost.
Cool.
But definitely check this one out. Blasphemy. The
Blasphemous.
Blasphemous. Excuse me. The stretch goals on this one, though, they got bosses only mode, which you're going to see a lot of that, like a boss rush mode. Yep. Very popular, apparently. I never really realized.
It's kind of cool. Actually, if you've ever played Shadow of the Colossus, that's all it is.
Yeah, it's one giant boss rush.
Yeah.
Nightmare mode, weekly challenges. These are just some of the stretch goals that were reached. Extra game programming, live instruments in the soundtrack, so you get like some better music in here.
Nice.
So their goals were, where were we? Here we go. So, $50,000, very straightforward. Ended up getting 333,000 with almost 9,900 backers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
big deal.
Yeah. And again, you can go ahead and you can still purchase this. It's from the makers of The Last Door, which I'm really interested in looking into because the way Blasphemous plays, I'm really curious how this Last Door looks. So
okay,
we'll check that one out. This one coming up, though, I have to say is one of my favorite ones.
Yes, you've talked about this one.
Of the ones that I've backed. It's got some classic gameplay to it. And B, just the graphics on it look awesome. And C, it was one of the first games I saw where I was backing, even though I didn't get any physical copies, but the type of physical copies that they were doing was like, this is like, people still do this? Like, I didn't realize it. Xeno Crisis.
Yes. Yeah, and I gotta say, like, I love the way this game looks.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, the easiest way to explain it, plays like Smash TV.
That's just what I was going to say.
That's straightforward. It's got like the like an Alien or Aliens type feel to it, but definitely plays like Smash TV. Now, what's interesting, what caught my eye on this is, it's available on Steam, Switch, PC, Mac, Linux, whichever versions that you have. But the physical copies, I'm like, again, the people are still making these. They made a physical Genesis cartridge for it.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yep. They made a physical Dreamcast CD for it, which was probably the first one that I've seen that had for Dreamcast. I'm like, I didn't even know they were still making Dreamcast games.
Yep.
And I'm just looking into it now. I'm not sure if they got to it, but I think they were planning a Neo Geo version, but I don't think that one ever saw the light of day.
Oh, wow. They never made it, huh?
That one, I don't think so. No, it's just basically Mega Drive, the Genesis, and the Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm.
And what's cool, like between Mega Drive and Genesis, it's got two different color patterns to it. Which look like one's red, one's green. You can buy the box, like it has like the original box art. So this is where I go, ooh, people are like, they're going back to make physical games for these old systems.
Yeah. What I also liked about this is that if you scroll down, they had the soundtrack available on CD and vinyl.
Yeah, vinyl, folks. If you don't know, kids, vinyl is a very weird piece of audio equipment that even during the height of vinyl, I'm like, there's got to be something better than this.
When we were growing up, we called them records.
Get that crackling, then it just starts up and skips.
Actually, a lot of people argue that music sounds better on vinyl than it does
heard
digitally.
That.
So.
I've definitely heard that. I don't understand that concept, but hey, to each their own. So
we need to get you new ears.
Like it says here, what's also cool about this one, which again was the first time I saw this, you can also download the ROM for the game. So, in the past, when you hear ROM, you immediately think emulator. Then you think emulator, and we get into the whole thing about, licensing and stuff. But after Xeno Crisis, I have noticed more and more, what's the word I'm looking for? Rewards, incentive to back these systems where people have like an EverDrive cart, which you can put ROMs onto for the Genesis, for the Nintendo, for the TurboGrafx. So instead of buying the physical, if you don't want the physical copy, but you want a physical copy, you can back it for a ROM and then just download the ROM onto that Evercade or whatever, not Evercade, EverReady, Ever something. And I had a panic attack right there. And,
I just saw that. At least it wasn't a stroke.
No. And so you can have a physical copy without having physical copies. That's basically what I was trying to say, which is interesting.
No, and to your point, ROMs get a bad rap, but the ability to just, I mean, let's face it, like when you download a Steam game is essentially a ROM.
For the most part, agreed.
Yeah, I mean, so being given a ROM, it's just you're getting a digital copy of the game to play on your PC.
Absolutely. So this bad boy, let's see, was 20,000 pound goal, made 72,500 pounds with almost 1,300 backers.
And you were one of them.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Yep.
This game gets a lot of play on my Switch. So that's I just did the Switch Steam version. It was 10 pounds. So. Not too shabby. Got that last year, about a year and a half ago. Very
cool.
So definitely check out Xeno Crisis.
Okay.
So moving right along here, Ant, this is one I thought maybe you would have been more interested in backing.
I'm looking at it now, and I kind of wish I did.
What happened here? That's weird.
I can always still buy it.
I just refreshed the page and brought me to a completely different game. Here we go. All right, I'm back. So this is a game called 40 Winks.
Yep.
Which is a game actually that was previously worked on. It may have even been released, I think, in Europe or something. But what was interesting about this particular Kickstarter, it's the first one, and as of right now, really the only one that I've seen, that was releasing a physical N64 game.
Yep.
We don't see a lot of that right now.
No, we definitely do not. I'm just reading through what happened to this game. It made it to the PlayStation. It just did not make it
That's
to
what
the
it
64.
Was. Okay.
Yes. Because I remember seeing this game come out somewhere. So
yeah, and you know, the game, to have a physical game on the N64, because at this time, this was about a year ago, give or take, 2 years ago. Yeah, a couple years ago. You know, at that time, yeah, we're getting the NES, and I'm talking not the minis, I'm talking like these clone systems. The NES, Super NES, Genesis was starting to come out. Rumblings about, you know, all these new systems coming out that plays old games. But even to today, you're really not hearing a lot about clone N64 systems.
No.
You can purchase an HDMI wire for the N64, you know, to hook up to a modern television. But I think I saw one, like, coming soon from Hyperkin, is they were working on an N64 clone, but nothing really since then.
Right.
So this one, and actually, you know, I was looking at it, I could have sworn I backed it, but apparently I did not, because nothing's coming up, so that's weird. So I don't know why it's in my backed folder. But in any event, $20,000 was their goal. They made $131,000 with 1,700 backers.
People love their N64 games.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This one, as of right now, I am not 100% sure if it actually has come out yet.
Oh, well, you know, well, that's the thing. Some of these Kickstarter campaigns, I mean, they take time because they need the money in order to make the game. You know, like I said earlier with 13th Doll, it took a few years after the Kickstarter closed for them to actually complete it. But that's because they couldn't do anything without the financial backing. So.
Oh, I believe I stand corrected. It looks like they have shipped. I apologize. I'm seeing some updates.
Well, there you go.
Oh, that's okay. You know, and you I don't know if you asked me before the recording or during the recording now, how I learned of some of these games that I backed. And one of the reasons is because some of the back games end up backing other games. And then they recommend them. Because this one actually mentions one that we'll talk about a little later, but that's how I got that. Okay, well, I'll come across that. So 40 Winks, definitely check it out.
Cool.
Okay, this one I think I've talked about before, and actually, if I move my head that way, if you're watching on YouTube, right here above my shoulders are two little Calico arcade machines that I got from Kickstarter.
Yeah. One of them very cool. One of them, what were you thinking?
I got news for you. This one I went back and forth so many times on, which I'll explain in a moment. So it's Calico Evolved. I think they've actually done another Kickstarter since then for different games. Okay. Little mini arcade cabinets of brand new games. Robotech and Rainbow Brite. Yes, I said Robotech.
Yeah, you said Rainbow Brite. I just find that funny.
Me too. Trust me, I found it hysterical. So there was these little tiny arcade machines, kind of like remember those old ones of like Donkey Kong and Popeye, stuff like that. Now you can't hook these up to a television or anything. These are just all in-house, but they're cute little arcade machines. So here's what happened. What's cool with Kickstarter is that, remember folks, you only get charged if the Kickstarter goes through. So like day one of the campaign, if you like it, you can pledge, but until the pledge is over, you can change your pledge, you can cancel your pledge. You don't get charged till the end. And this one I must have changed about 4 times.
Nice.
During the situation.
It's like, no,
for real, because I ended up getting the collector 2-pack, which is the 2 games as is. I originally was going for like the limited edition, no pun intended, of it's limited something else. Yeah, the metallic ones, which would have been numbered, a lot more money, don't get me wrong. And then I don't know if I just got cheap at that point or something else was, because that was like $400. Something else was coming in.
You didn't get cheap. You got some. Let's say it that way.
It was limited to 50, but you know the collector in me. So
no.
Yeah,
I totally get that, but for me, this isn't exactly the one to say I'm going to go all out for the collector. Now, when we talked about the 40th anniversary Pac-Man arcade one-up that was signed by the Pac-Man originator, that's the collector one I say you go for. I wouldn't say you go for the collector's edition of a Rainbow Brite Calico arcade.
it would have been a silver Rainbow Brite and a gold Robotron.
Yeah, no.
So I ended up getting the regular ones. Don't get me wrong. But I still love them. They're great games. I do play them every now and again. And as far as stretch goals, there was actually, it would have been $180,000 stretch goal. I really didn't get to at that point.
Nope. I'd love to see you live stream one of those. You'd have to put your phone up to the tiny screen.
Very, very difficult. No, you're right. I got news for you though. Rainbow Brite, it's almost like an RPG, and it's an interesting gameplay. Dear. It is an interesting gameplay. Robotron is just a straight up side scroller.
Robotech,
excuse me.
Yeah. No, I know way too much about Rainbow Brite because I grew up with sisters, so I really don't want to own anything of it.
Listen, I saw Rainbow Brite in the Star Stealer. Yeah,
I know you did.
Well, I think I actually rented it. I don't know why.
See? And that tells you all you need to know about Larry.
And folks, it was the 80s, so it was weird back then. So I got this 2-pack, so it worked out well. You can still purchase them, and like I said, I'm pretty sure, and this is straight from Calico. Like, this isn't just a company going, oh, our love of these arcades. These are the exact same machines as those old Pac-Man ones that we had when we were kids.
Yeah, and to me, that's really the cool thing about it. It's to have that, like, it's like a little piece of history. You know, just not.
You know, I'm taking a look right now. Did they you know what? They did. Oh, they did do another one.
What did they do?
Oh, and it was unsuccessful. Wow.
What were they? What games?
I'm pulling them up right now.
Original games?
Not original. Berserk and Frenzy.
Oh, see, now I would have pledged for Berserk because I loved that game.
And this was unsuccessful.
I know you didn't like that one. Right? That's the Berserk from Atari, right?
Yeah, well, it was on Atari. Yeah.
And it was an arcade.
Yeah. Boy, let's see does it say where they got to? Here we go. All right, they were looking for $65,000. They came up just short of $20,000. And this was last September. This was recent.
Oh, wow.
Wow, I'm shocked.
Okay.
All right. Hey, listen, not all of them make it.
No love for Berserk. All the love went to Rainbow Brite.
Apparently. See? I did it right. So. You know what? Let me go back to that one. Did I say, did I give the amounts that it made and stuff like that? I think I did, yeah. Oh, here we go. That's weird. So this one, the original one, they were looking for $30,000, and they got a little over 71,000 right? With 736 backers. Interesting. All right. Well, definitely check those. If you're into those little mini arcade machines, all joking aside, these Coleco ones are awesome. So definitely check those out.
Very cool.
All right. And this is one I just sent you a little while ago that you actually caught your eye on.
Yeah, and I looked at it and I'm like, ooh, okay.
It's a game called Micro Mages.
Yeah, and this is my style. This is definitely my style.
So it's a 40 kilobyte NES game. Boy, they're really that's really pushing the system there because it comes on an NES cart.
Yes, which is what I like.
Let's see. So we got
and it has an instruction booklet.
Oh, that's kind of the running thing. If you're getting a physical copy, you're getting the box. Well, one of the you can either get cart only or you can get box as well.
Yeah, see, I'd go all out. I want the box.
Yeah, you get the box art, you get the instructions, like you said, maybe a couple of little trinkets inside, and then the physical cart. And then even then, I've seen backers where it's either been a gray cart, like the Jay and Silent Bob Mole Brawl. You can get gray, or you can get yellow for Jay or green for Silent Bob. I've even seen one NES that was wood. The cart was wood. And it's still.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that one.
You can still put it in the NES system. So this Micro Mages, up to 4 players, simultaneous, 8 worlds, traps, monsters, bosses, 40 kilobytes. Again, that's a lot for an NES game.
And what I like about the little Micro Mage, he kind of looks like Orko from He-Man.
Orko, that is awesome. That's something you don't hear every day, folks.
No, you definitely don't. No, only I pull out these references.
It's all right. I did had a gopher reference from Love Boat the other day.
Oh my!
So Micro Mages is a platform game for 1 to 4 players. Again, available on a real NES cart and also via emulation. Let's see. They made, where were they? Here we go. 15,000 euros, and they made 151,000 euros with over 4,100 backers.
Very cool.
That's very impressive. Some of the exclusives, though, for some of these, like a limited pack. See, this is where you go. You get the box art. You get a dust sleeve, the old NES dust sleeves.
Love it.
You get an original soundtrack. If you go even further, here's what's also cool about Kickstarter. A lot of times you can get like exclusive Kickstarter artwork.
Yes.
Like, so with this Micro Mages, has just a very straightforward box art, the name of the game, like artwork of the game. But the exclusive Kickstarter box art looks like and if you scroll down a little bit, looks like an old NES black box cart, like the original Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, I know, and that's kind of what I like about it.
Yeah, cool. I didn't see that before, so that's pretty cool. A black cartridge, limited edition black cartridge.
With the limited edition certificate.
Yep, and your name in the instruction booklet. So
very cool.
And so yeah, definitely check that one out again. That's from Morphcat Games.
Very cool.
Sweet. Okay, now it's getting into heavy hitters. And folks, I'm sorry.
Hitters for you.
I know I've been doing a lot of talking. I apologize. But
Larry, I told you when you brought up this topic, I'm like, this is your show. I go because you are the compulsive shopper.
So this next game, this is where I go, okay, now Kickstarter is becoming a go-to for and none of these other games aren't legit, but when I say legit, meaning like a game that has history. A game that has a past. And when this came up, I was like, I am absolutely backing this. R-Type Final 2. And this thing, if you ever played R-Type Final on the PS2, actually, first of all, let's back up for a second. R-Type series is fantastic. Actually, in fact.
Yes, they are. And I know you have them.
No, I got this thing. Hold on, check this out, which you can get from Retrobit and Castlemania Games. Is an R-Type. Let me back this up here.
There you go.
There it is. R-Type and R-Type 3 and Super R-Type Collector's Edition. This is a Super NES cart that's in here that has both games on it.
That's awesome.
And it's a bunch of other cool stuff that's in here. This is still available. Great. This, and also got in the same style on the NES Holy Diver.
Oh, yes. I remember when you bought Holy Diver.
Now YouTube. Oh, I can't put this back. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, just put it down.
Everything's just becoming a mess. So I saw R-Type, and I love everyone already knows. R-Type up there with Gradius, one of my favorite series of all time. And R-Type Final was a great game, but it was really kind of like the last R-Type, like original R-Type, that I really remember playing. Eventually we got R-Type Dimensions, but that's just throwbacks to the first two R-Types. So this was the company actually going on to make an official sequel to R-Type Final. And again, I'm like, there's no questions asked. I'm in. Just how much do you want?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because you're just like whatever. And this one was a Japanese run one because they were raising yen.
They were 45 million yen,
and that was not a cheap goal.
No,
45 million yen is about $450,000.
Yeah, no, this is a arduous art. This was a big task, and
there you go.
It ended up making almost 99 million yen with over 8,000 backers.
Right, which again is about $900,000, a little over $900,000.
Yeah,
which is huge.
Absolutely. You know what? I had all this preloaded, and then for some reason it signed me out of everything. This is why I can't see what my levels were.
It doesn't like you.
Here we go. Okay, so here's what I backed. Folks, this is what happens when you think you have everything ready to go. So I backed, and this is a digital copy. Again, don't get me wrong. So it was 3,300 yen.
Okay.
That I backed. A digital copy of R-Type Final 2 for PS4, Switch, or Xbox One. Of course, I'll get it for the Switch.
Of course.
What's cool about Kickstarter is it does tell you the conversion. So it's like 3,300 yen, about $30.
About $30.
Yeah, so it does tell me. the stretch goals on this were coming in hot and heavy, where some of them were, here we go. Here are the stretch goals. Not all, at that amount, not every goal was hit too. So
no, it was not.
Cross-region, cross-platform leaderboards, ghost function availability, so you can kind of race against yourself. Subtitles. That's actually a big goal as well sometimes, to get those other language subtitles. Here we go. Here's a couple of them. Reproduce and incorporate one stage from R-Type Final into this version.
Awesome.
The next stretch goal was to incorporate and reproduce a stage from R-Type Delta, which was on the PS1. That game was fantastic.
I've never played that one.
And then the third and final stretch goal that they got to was reproduce and incorporate a stage from R-Type 3.
Nice.
Which I had on Super Nintendo. And then, then some further stretch goals from R-Type 2, reproduce something from the original game, stuff like that. So, so this one, I mean, and it was also, here's the other thing. And I see this as well when I back Rift Tracks, which is from Mystery Science, the guys who did MST3K. Not only sometimes are their stretch goals monetary, but it's also either like number of backers. So some stretch goals are, if we get 2,000 backers, we'll do this. Even if everyone pledges $1, as long as we get the number of backers. So I guess that has something to do with it as well.
Yeah.
There was social media goals that they were hitting.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. So they really did a lot of stuff here. $40 could have gotten a digital copy and soundtrack. I don't think they were doing a physical. Oh no, I stand corrected. A physical copy was at $60. Yep. Which is fine. So yeah. So again, and then of course you get your names in the credit stuff as the amounts go up.
That's really why you back all these games.
Absolutely, basically.
You just want to see your name on the screen.
And then of course for if you backed $10,000 American. Wow. You got exclusive Artcraft and you got your own ships in your own version of the game, basically.
Nice.
Which is interesting. I don't know if it's worth $10,000, but hey, there's people out there.
I'm surprised you didn't do that.
I was close. Okay. So R-Type Final 2, I mean, absolutely. And their website's constantly being updated. I'm constantly getting emails from them. So they're still working on it. And there's no release date, but by golly, can't wait. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to start to wrap. There's a couple more here I'll mention, and we'll start to wrap this up. So this game, we actually talked about in detail on a previous episode, but it was through 40 Winks that I saw this one. Okay. And this is a game that already came out actually on the Super Nintendo. Jim Power, The Lost Dimension in 3D.
Yes. So
basically, this is... What they did was they were reproducing and from the ground up, they were reproducing and recoding the original Jim Powers on the Super Nintendo. They also were doing it on the Genesis, on the NES, on the TurboGrafx CD, and the Amiga 32 CD. Systems that should not still be having games made for them.
No, definitely not. But hey, what the hell?
No, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. And what's great about it is it's not the same game over every platform. Like the Genesis one is slightly different than the Super Nintendo one, which is slightly different than the NES. Yeah. They're not just different versions.
Yeah, but you remember games back then, when during the time when NES games were still being made, but the Super Nintendo came out, they were putting out two versions of some games. You would get an 8-bit version, which definitely did not play like the 16-bit ones.
No, not at all. But what I'm saying is for like a Kickstarter where, it's not going to be as large of a team probably making these games, and just to get the game out to make so many different, and I'm not talking drastically different versions, but different enough where it might be worth picking it up on the NES and the Genesis or something like that.
Right.
So this game, let's see, $50,000, made it with almost $64,000, 678 backers.
Yeah. Did not make stretch goals.
No, unfortunately. And this was the one, actually they were looking to do, for the Neo Geo. I forgot what the other game I mentioned, that's not the case. This one. Yeah, they didn't get to it, unfortunately. They really didn't even get to physical formats. But you know what? You never know. Down the road, who knows?
Because no, very cool though.
Also, just because the Kickstarter made 64 or whatever thousand doesn't mean they're still not collecting money. Like they may be collecting money
through the site.
Exactly. So you may get these versions down the road. What's great about this is I still have, I don't think I locked it in yet, but I still have an option to select which version I want, whether from NES all the way up to the CD Amiga 32. And I was going to get it for the TurboGrafx CD because that's a playable game on the Polymega.
Mm-hmm.
But not because we haven't gotten the Polymega yet, but because I saw gameplay of the TurboGrafx CD version. And I'm like, ooh, that actually doesn't run well. Not because of the guys who are making the game. I think just because of the system. So I may go back. I'm still debating between Genesis or the NES.
Okay.
Yeah, so I will let you guys know.
Yeah, ooh, suspense.
And then
suspense.
Last couple others here. Quick game called Trophy, which is a physical game for the NES. It's just a straightforward action platformer. You play as this robot Trophy. It's a straight up homebrew game. Really not much to it, just other than it's just a just a platformer. Almost kind of like
it's got a Mega Man look
yes,
to me.
That's what I was just going to say. Very Mega Man look.
I was going to say, I can see why this was appealing to you since you love Mega Man so much.
I don't think you necessarily take the weapons like as you would, but still, very Mega Man like. This cartridge only. You can get a regular, which is a very nice kind of a crystal blue version of it. There's a limited edition version that's a crystal white version of the cart. I think I'm just getting the regular edition card only. So I'm getting that translucent blue cartridge.
Cool.
So something. Cool. Oh, and let's see. So their goals, 6,000. Very weird. $6,502 was their goal, and they made $40,096 with 729 backers.
And that's awesome.
Yes, very good.
That's very awesome.
And then the final two, which I literally just backed this last week. First one is called Lords of Exile. It's an 8-bit dark and bloody action platformer. Very much in the vein of Castlevania 3. I mean, this thing almost, if you blink and look at it for a second, you would think it is Castlevania 3.
Yeah, it does kind of look like that.
Very much. It 258% over their goal. That's how much they made. So 12,000 euros. They made 31,000 euros with over 1,100 backers. Again, I'm just getting the digital copy. But folks, if you're into Castlevania, get this game. It also plays like Blood of the Moon, Curse of what the hell is that called? You know what I'm talking about? Curse of the Moon. Bloodstained. Curse of the Moon.
Curse of the Moon. Mm-hmm.
Which also plays like Castlevania 3.
Yeah, which by the way is an awesome game.
Oh, game's fantastic.
Yes.
So yeah, really the video does justice on this one. So check out Lords of Exile, and then finally one actually I think Ant he may end up purchasing because the way he was talking about it when I showed him. A game called The Last Faith, a dark gothic Metroidvania game.
Yeah, this one when you showed it to me, like I perked up, and I'm like, ooh, I was like, yeah, this is my style of game. This is really, it's one of those games where, it's a Metroidvania style, but it's got the really cool, like, gothic background.
Oh, textures. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks absolutely stunning. So I'm all in for this, and it's available. It'll be available on PS4. Yay. Yeah,
absolutely. Side-scrolling platform, like Anthony said, Metroidvania, action combat system, different weapons you can get. Detailed pixel art is gorgeous, and the world looks enormous.
Yes, it does look really cool.
And this is one of those games where you can just take a screen grab and frame it.
And it's also, apparently, I'm just reading it, it's exploration-based, so it's kind of like Symphony of the Night.
Absolutely, yep. Even to the point where they had this giant statue available that you could have gotten for like $150.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It looks pretty cool, actually.
It looks really, really cool. Yeah, this is definitely one where it's like I want it, and it just depends on if I want to buy a physical copy or if I want to get the digital version.
And they just came up short of co-op multiplayer online for a stretch.
Oh, that hurts. What if I call them and say, "I'll give you the money. Come on."
Maybe they needed to get to 2,200 pounds. So
wait, they needed.
They
were short.
The stretch goal. The stretch goal was 2,200 pounds. Yeah. But they did unlock, they got, it was funded, boss rush mode again. You see that, some extra weapons, a survival mode, cutscenes, multiple endings, which I hate, English voice acting, so that's good. So now I can understand what they're talking about. And it's from England, so I don't know. And dungeon mode, so discover unique secrets, weapons, items, and whatnot. So yeah, and this one's brand new, so literally brand new.
Like it just ended.
Yeah. So getting that digital copy. I don't think did they have? Yeah, they had physical copies as well.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
So this episode got away from me. I apologize. I definitely wanted to talk some more about some of these, but I don't want to take up everyone's time. Some other
You've already took up enough of it.
I feel like it. Some other, just check these out on Kickstarter. I'm just going to throw the names out. Ira, EYRA, The Crow Maiden. Available, looks like on NES, Super NES, and Genesis. A game called Ploid, Ploid. And another game is very interesting. It's called Jeffrey Wittenhagen's Black Box Challenge. It's an NES RPG where you go around trying to collect all the original Black Box NES cartridges.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah, that one ended, I think, a couple years ago. So, it just ended recently, actually.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, those is just, and then finally, that's right, Ant, the one I showed you, the point and click for Dreamcast.
Oh, yes. What was the name of that again?
Drascula.
Drascula.
The Vampire Strikes Back.
Yes, and that one looks interesting to me. I'm big on the point and click stuff.
Yes. So there's a bunch of others. But I just wanted to touch on some of those. Check those out. Check out Kickstarter. Again, let us know if you see any games on Kickstarter, whether the physical games, there's a lot of board games on Kickstarter, a lot of card games on Kickstarter. Definitely hit us up with it. And, we thought maybe a little bit of a little different, scenario for us to talk about. So.
Yes. And, I think it was actually really good. A whole bunch of obscure games, obviously, because these are all independently made.
Absolutely.
So really interesting.
So,
and then, before we go.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
Before we go, since you talked the entire time.
I did. Made no sense whatsoever, but I talked.
No, you never make sense. But I did have a bit of retro news to share. Just a few things really quickly to go through. One of them was, do you remember the handheld Evercade system that was being released in Europe?
Yep.
And the cartridges were going to have batches of games. So they've recently come out and announced that they plan to have over 50 different cartridges for this system.
Oh, wow.
Over the next couple of years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And one of the ones that I just happened to come across, because I haven't really been following it completely.
It's funny you mention it because I just saw it. It's being sold on Amazon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you'll be happy to know, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. two of the cartridges being released that they announced that last month in May. Are an Atari Lynx collection and an Atari Lynx Collection 2. So
I got my one Atari Lynx game.
What Atari Lynx game do you have?
Rampage.
Nice. So the Atari Lynx cartridge.
Yes.
The first one has 17 games on it.
Okay.
Which is really cool. And again, I don't know, me personally, I really don't know much of these games. A couple of them I do. Scrapyard Dog, Basket Brawl, Super Asteroids, Missile Command, Awesome Golf, Crystal Mines 2, Buried Treasure, Dracula the Undead, so on and so forth. So there are 17 games on the first collection. But then on the second collection, there were only 8.
Oh,
but
weird.
I'm wondering if they were, I'm also wondering if these were bigger games.
Mm-hmm.
California games, Todd's Adventures in Slime World, Electro Cop, Gates of Zendikon, Blue Lightning, Chips Challenge, Checkered Flag, Gates of Zendikon, or Zarlor Mercenary. That's the last one.
Yeah, they do sound like bigger games, I think.
Yeah, I think so. California games I remember having on the NES, which was kind of fun.
Yes.
So it was just interesting to see that Evercade came up again. And then Nintendo, and this is more recent stuff, but Nintendo, or specifically Pokemon, had a bit of a conference.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And they announced a sequel to Pokemon Snap from the N64 that is now 20 years old.
Oofa.
or 21 years old at this point. Jeez. So now we're getting a new Pokemon Snap game for the Nintendo Switch. And I have to say, from the visuals that they showed, it looks really, really beautiful.
Did you play the original one?
I still own the cartridge.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I mean, I never got
something. Yeah, there was something about it that was so appealing. I don't know what it was.
Fair enough.
It was it was just a very simple concept. You know, you're just sitting in a little car going through. It's like going through the zoo and catching images of animals, except you're catching Pokemon.
No, very true. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I never got into it, but you're right. There is a huge following for it.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. And to be honest with you, I think maybe Pokemon Go kind of got a cue from that.
Oh, I think so. Absolutely.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. So Pokemon Snap coming to the Nintendo Switch, you can actually pre-order it already. So if you want to get it. Couple other things to throw out there. I don't know if we mentioned this before, but Crash Bandicoot is coming back.
Again?
In a new game. Yeah. Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. That's the subtitle.
I love it.
Coming out for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox. I know they just came out with the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy.
Yes.
And then there was the Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled and stuff like that. But now we're getting a new Crash Bandicoot game. So
that's pretty cool.
This one looks really fun. Yeah.
That's cool. All right, good. Glad to see you.
I love the subtitle.
Yeah, no, I do. I love that subtitle as well. All right, that's pretty sweet. Yeah, I just started playing those Crash. I never played them originally.
Neither did I. Yeah. They're supposed to be really fun. It will come out on the Switch eventually.
Yeah.
But probably not at launch. So we got a new Crash Bandicoot. Another thing to point out from Square Enix. Square Enix has announced a new Kingdom Hearts game.
Yes, I got an email on this.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1.374328 There you go. No. This one's
very
actually,
detailed. Very detailed.
Yes, this one's actually a little more interesting. This one's called Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, and it's actually a music-based game with the Kingdom Hearts characters. So if you've ever played Amplitude,
yes,
or the PS2, I think, go back to the PS2, it kind of runs like that. Or if you played like Rock Band or something like that, where there's the music track, there's like a music track, and you have to obviously hit the notes on the tracks, and you move back and forth, and you have the characters basically running on the track, and you have to hit the spots as they get there. So looks really, really fun. Again, like all these music games are fun.
And this game, it's the first Kingdom Hearts available on the Switch. Is it exclusive to the Switch?
That is a very good question. Let's see what they're saying.
Let me check the email.
Let's see. It says arrives on Switch, so it doesn't say anything else.
I think it's exclusive to the Switch.
Yeah, I think it is. And it's gonna feature 140 musical tracks and 20 characters from the series, which is huge. Let's see, what else are you going to be getting? The Kingdom Hearts 3 original soundtrack is also being released. That was just something different.
Oh, that's nice.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so 140 tracks. That's a monster in and of itself for a music game. So this looks like it'll be an interesting grab.
Yeah, no, when I saw the email on this, and it looks very Switch. That's why I'm thinking if it's exclusive to the Switch, because like the characters looked very like Nintendo-like. But they also say there's an all new additional Kingdom Hearts story. So I think, obviously the game will play out.
That's the whole 1.347 thing.
So
since they can't keep track of that. And the last bit of news I want to share. I know we already brought up one of Larry's favorite.
Quick side note: no, it will be available on Switch, PS4, and Xbox One.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right, last bit of news I want to share, and I know we've already brought up one of Larry's favorite places, Limited Run Games. Now I'm going to bring up one of Larry's favorite people, because after extensive investigations, Twin Galaxies has reinstated Billy Mitchell's records.
No, we had him. We had him on the ropes.
His Pac-Man and Donkey Kong records have been reinstated. And not only that, but what was very interesting about this is that in their investigations, they actually brought in current Donkey Kong high score holder Robbie Lakeman as an expert to review Billy Mitchell's gameplay, because the whole controversy was that they were claiming that Billy Mitchell used an emulator.
Is it the video?
High scores.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that he used an emulator to hit the high scores, and that, you know, it was on video and everything like that. And they were saying like maybe he edited the video, documented the video, whatever it was. So anyway, they brought in Robbie Lakeman, who actually had the record after they got rid of Billy Mitchell, to review,
scrutinize it.
Yep, and he scrutinized it. And according to Robbie Lakeman, what did he say? He said after reviewing Billy's gameplay and reproducing similar games myself, I can honestly say that this is legitimate gameplay. I do not see a reason why Billy would need to even use MAME, which was the emulator, or save states to film both games with this style of play. So thanks to him and Twin Galaxies reinvestigation, Billy Mitchell is once again.
Damn that hot sauce. Oh,
I know.
Boo.
Yep. And I'm sure he's just more egotistical than ever. Even more. I think he may break the arrogance scale.
Oh my God, forget about it.
In this world.
It's just like the best part about the King of Kong. He's like, I think they ask him like, what initials do you use? And he just stares at it like, what do you think? And they're like, BM, Billy Mitchell. Like, he was wearing a Statue of Liberty tie. And he's like, USA. I'm like, why'd you say that? All right, so you're wearing a Statue of Liberty tie, but who's going to put two and two together on that? Oh God, I can't stand him.
Maybe he doesn't use his initials because they also stand for bowel movement.
That is true. That's what I was thinking of when I was thinking of it. Yeah. Kill screen.
Well, I'm sure that's what a lot of people think of.
We got a possible Donkey Kong kill screen. Like what? What are you talking about, pal?
Oh God,
guy's walking around there.
Anyway, so he is the champion once again.
So close.
I know.
We'll get him again somewhere. Hopefully. Oh, you know what's funny? I didn't get a chance to watch them. They're not Billy's, but who just it was Donkey Kong you're talking about, but we mentioned the Pac-Man, or at least was the Pac-Man world record holder for a perfect Pac-Man game. But you can find those there was one I saw on YouTube. It was like 2 hours long. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but supposedly it's a perfect run of Pac-Man.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
I would love to see that.
Yeah, if you just search for it, you can find it.
All right, cool.
But, all right. Cool. Well, not all good news, but all right, whatever. News is news.
For the most part, good news. You know, one piece of bad news.
Oh, well. With that, folks, I think we're going to bring it into port. And where can they find us?
You guys can find us at facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast, on Instagram at RetroGamersPodcast, Twitter at RetroGamersPod. You can watch us on YouTube. Just look for the Retro Gamers Podcast. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you want to send us a nice insulting message, you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com.
As long as you give us 5 stars, we don't care what you call us.
Yeah, you can give us 5 stars and call us every name in the book. We can take it. Well, you know what? I can take it. I don't know if Larry can. He's very
From strangers, I absolutely can take it.
Okay, good.
Go watch some of my YouTube videos and look at the comments.
Oh, yes, I've seen those.
All right, folks. With that, we're going to call it a day. And make sure you purchase some of those Kickstarters. All right?
Yep, I can already feel my pocket getting lighter.
And with that, we will catch you right here next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.